You think it's just an evening, a couple of hours for yourself. One glass of wine, maybe two. You're not losing control, you're aware, you're not one of those people. But let me rephrase it. Each sip isn't rest, it's a contract. And most of the time, it's signed blindly. Alcohol doesn't just affect the body. It turns off a protection you didn't even know you had. As long as you're sober, you're connected to yourself. You are a closed, complete circuit. Hard to break. But with the first dose, everything changes. Pain shifts. The circuit weakens. You become visible to forces that once passed you by. This is about energy. An ancient system, one not just made of organs, but of channels that mainstream medicine will never mention. You are a conductor, and when the conductor is distorted, anything can pass through. You don't feel it, because the effects are subtle, delayed. But you fall asleep, with an empty glass, a glowing screen, and unread notifications. And in that moment, your inner world has already been hacked. The thoughts that flood in by morning will feel like yours. The doubt will seem familiar. And the voice of intuition? Muffled. The paradox is, you won't even notice. Because the poisoning happens not in your body, but in the link with yourself, your real self. And when that link breaks, any script can be downloaded into your mind. You thought alcohol was just a way to unwind. But what if it unwinds your will? What if in those quiet evenings, you're not losing time? You're losing navigation in your own life. Look at how it's done. No one approached you directly. No one said you'd drink. This will break your connection with yourself. No. It was introduced beautifully, subtly, precisely. Since childhood. In every ad, a glass of wine at sunset, a family gathered at the table, kids running in the grass, and then, mom pours wine. She smiles. Dad's next to her. Strong, successful, confident. And he drinks too. And you, just a child, recorded it like a cat watching. This is normal. This is happiness. On screen, it's always celebration. Sparkles, laughter, firelight, shadows dancing, and always a glass, a shot, a bottle. You didn't notice? Successful people in films always drink. Elegantly, intelligently, powerfully. Champagne to celebrate. Whiskey at the peak of a deal. Brandy before revealing a secret. Now be honest. When was the first time someone showed you that alcohol makes people miserable? That it destroys memory? Kills the liver? Tears through your energy field? Opens access to your system? You didn't see it, because it wasn't shown. The script was simple. Alcohol is beauty. It's part of life. Part of celebration. Part of becoming an adult. You were programmed, not by orders, but by visual anchors. To drink is to belong. To drink is to fit in. To drink is to live. But behind this narrative was a deeper goal. You weren't taught to feel. You were taught to numb. You weren't led to yourself. You were led into sleep. Alcohol isn't a beverage. It's a code. A code that activates one simple function in your mind. Shut yourself down, and so you live. Smile. Sip wine like a picture-perfect moment, but something still feels off inside, because the celebration is only on the screen, and in reality, it's morning, and you're hiding from it. Again, you think alcohol is just a way to relax, to celebrate, to relieve stress? You're not to blame. You were taught this, but beneath that relaxation lies a ritual, and you've been participating, without knowing the rules. Alcohol was never about rest. Since ancient times, it was used in magical rites, in sacrificial ceremonies, in portal openings, even in entity summoning. Why alcohol? Because it's a conductor. It tears the protective layers around a human being. The subtle shields. The energy field. After the first shot, your consciousness is no longer yours. You're accessible. Your thoughts can be read. Your will can be programmed. You think you're having fun. But who is laughing through you? Why so many accidents after fun nights? Why so many deaths? So many regrets? Why can't you remember parts of the night? Because it wasn't you. Alcohol is an entry point. It opens the door, but you don't decide who walks in. In ancient cultures, alcohol was never consumed casually. It was given to victims before rituals, to suppress their will, to silence the soul. No handcuffs were needed, just a drink. And then, the ritual began. But you weren't the main character. Your energy was gathered, your awareness dimmed, you were connected, and once again you think, come on, it's just beer with friends. But who in that moment is absorbing your power? Who through you gains access to this reality? You've likely noticed, say, I don't drink, and the air around you cracks. Strange reactions. It's a neutral phrase. You're not preaching. You're not judging. You just decline. But your refusal breaks the ritual. And then it begins. Oh, are you on antibiotics? You okay? Come on, don't be like that. Just a little. It's a celebration. What, you don't respect me? And if you stand firm, you'll hear whispers. He must be in a cult. There's something off with him. Sick, maybe? They're not defending you. They're defending the matrix. It's not personal. They don't realize they're protecting a program. It's as if someone broke a sacred tradition, refused to obey a centuries-old spell. And now, you're disrupting everyone else's illusion of normal. You're not the strange one. You are a mirror, a reflection of their lack of freedom. Why do people react so oddly? Because alcohol isn't just a drink. It's a key to the collective unconscious. It's a ritual of belonging. When you say no, you're stepping out of the tribe. You become a reminder that they could have chosen differently, that numbing isn't mandatory, that escape isn't necessary, that choice exists, and the system hates choice. Your soul disturbs it. Every time you say, I don't want to, you ignite like a beacon in a sea of gray. Their eyes turn glassy. There's aggression, or pity, because your sobriety is a threat to the egregore. The system only works when souls are silenced. People are easy to manage when they don't feel, and alcohol is the best off switch for feeling. And so, you are left alone, like waking in a room where everyone else is asleep. You realize, this isn't just a night out, not just company, it's a retention ritual, and you disrupted it. You begin to see how deeply this behavior was embedded, how the system defends itself through people, through jokes, through pressure, through silence. It doesn't want to kill you. It wants you to break yourself, to say, all right, fine, pour me one. And the ritual will be complete. But if you stand your ground, if you don't give in, you may suddenly realize you are not alone. You were just the first to rise, the first to walk out, and maybe your silence will become someone else's awakening. You think you want to relax. You think you want to celebrate. You tell yourself, I deserve this. But alcohol was never about rest. It was an access point, a password, a passcode into an energetic space where you become weak, open, and willless. You shut down your awareness and switch on a program. Who are you when you drink? Think about it. You become someone else. You say things you normally wouldn't. You lose your filter. Your laugh changes. You make choices you regret. You wake up not remembering how you lived. Because it wasn't you. Alcohol is a soft shove that pushes you out of your body and invites something else to take your place. Why are some people kind after drinking while others become aggressive? Because it all depends on who takes over your channel. What kind of energetic trace do you carry? What wounds open up inside you? What shadows are waiting for their hour to come? Alcohol is like opening a door to a being. You become empty. You become open. You become soft. You become defenseless. And if you could see what enters you in that moment, you would never drink again. Why did ancient cultures fear intoxication? In tribal societies, shamans knew, at the moment of intoxication, the soul leaves, and the body becomes a toy for entities. That's why those who drank without ritual were seen as possessed, sick, or cursed. Their eyes would change. Their speech would shift. Their gait would become unfamiliar. And they would remember nothing of what they had said. Why do so many people experience dark streaks after drinking? Fights, losses, firings, illness. Because you granted access, you let in a program, and now it's unraveling your fate. And it all began with one glass. To your health. You probably know such people. Maybe you've seen them in real life. Maybe they're close to you. Or maybe you've been right there with them. This is no longer just once a month. This is deep dependence. The person disappears. They become someone else. At some point you realize they all start to look the same. Their words repeat like a copy. I'll stop when I want. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm just relaxing. At least I'm honest. You're all hypocrites. Same tone, same mannerisms. Even the laughter isn't theirs anymore. Look closer. These people are always unhappy. No inspiration, no real goals, no light in their eyes, but they're loud. They argue, they shout, they justify, they attack. As if something inside them is defending itself. Something that fears sobriety. Their focus narrows to a single interest. Getting their dose. Not always in obvious ways. Sometimes it's just a glass in the evening, a beer before bed. But the core is the same. The body waits. The brain strains. Mood collapses. Until it gets what it wants. And when it does, it eases up. For an hour, maybe an evening, but never more. Sobriety no longer brings joy. The sun doesn't uplift. Music doesn't move. Life without a fix feels empty. That's the program. When joy becomes possible only in combination with a substance, everything else fades. Aggression comes easily. Triggers spark from nowhere. Resentment grows toward the world. There's always someone to blame, always something in the way, but never the person themselves. Because inside, the core is missing. The self is gone. They're broadcasting a foreign code. And that code is the same for everyone. One program, one template, one outcome. The personality dissolves. What's left is a shell saying, I'm in control. But you can feel it. There is no control. The program of mass consciousness works through sedation, through sleep, deep, subtle, endless sleep. You will be gone. Held in a constant state of everything seems fine. Alcohol isn't a drink, it's an access code. Like a label on your mind, this one's asleep, ready for use. You've become predictable, and therefore, convenient. The Matrix doesn't want you, the awakened one. It doesn't need your heart, your will, your choice. It wants your electricity, your flow, your energy. You are a battery, and to make sure you stay plugged in, they lull you to sleep. This isn't an accident, it's a necessary part of the algorithm. Because if you remember who you were before you entered this game, the game ends. And the game is someone's profit. Think about it. Alcohol, and everything like it, isn't just entertainment. It's a protocol of entry. An energetic signature that opens portals for programs, entities, and egregores that will feed off you. The longer you're in the game, the less strength you have. And the more you lose yourself, inviting in things that don't belong to your soul. The Matrix does everything it can to keep you from ever sitting in silence. Noise, distractions, people, persuasion, all to keep you from hearing the one moment your soul screams, "Hey, this isn't you." Why so much sedation? Because if you're awake, you see. And if you see, you don't obey. This system fears the awakened. Because you're not just a human, you are an exit gate. And once you awaken, entire structures within the Matrix, built on your energy, begin to collapse. Conscious energy is the most valuable currency in the universe. You can't touch it. You can't steal it by force. But you can take it quietly, through attention, through habit, through sleep. Every harmless action, every glass to relax, every endless scroll on your phone, every automatic thought, everyone does it, becomes fuel. Fuel for someone else's system. A system that doesn't want you present. It wants you on autopilot. It wants you as a battery, to silently hand over your strength, your emotions, your bursts of anger, desire, fear, and not even realize it. Because in their reality, you're just a resource. But in that very moment when you wake up, when you start asking questions, when you look around and notice that something feels wrong, you take your control back. You're no longer a sleepy participant. You are the one who sees, the observer, the architect, the spark. Remember this. Be aware every day, even in the small things, especially in the small things. You reclaimed your power just by becoming attentive. Thank you for being here, for your choice, for the depth of your comments, for your trust, and for not just watching, but feeling. You are conscious, and you know it. I wish you a quiet, beautiful evening. May reality open itself to you more deeply, and may every day bring signs. See you in the next video. Take care.